Titus actually opens with the same tension between law and justice that we saw at the beginning of the Comedy of Errors, even though Titus is a tragedy and Comedy of Errors is a comedy. Tragedies, by the way, begin with a great person, usually a king, or in this case, a general, on top of the world, right? On top of the social order. And then the tragedy comes, that person who's on top falls to the bottom. And there's a sympathy, a sort of natural sympathy that an audience has for the fall of the great man. And the fancy Latin term for this is decasibus. DE, second word, CASIBUS, tragedy. It elicits, according to Aristotle, a certain pity and fear from an audience to watch someone who's doing well fall from great heights. But back to Law and Justice again. This favorite tension or problematic of Shakespeare's. When the play opens, the Emperor of Rome has died, and his two sons are competing for the throne. Saturninus, the eldest son, argues for law. That is, he should be the emperor because that's what the law is. Noble patricians, patrons of my right, defend the justice of my cause with arms. He actually says justice there, but you might as well translate that as law. Defend the justice of my cause with arms, and countrymen, my loving followers, plead my successive title with your swords. I am his firstborn son that was the last that wear the imperial diadem of Rome. Then let my father's honors live in me, nor wrong mine age with this indignity. I should be the emperor because I am the firstborn, and that it's the law. His younger brother responds with an argument that should appeal more to modern audiences, in the sense that at least we like to think that we are interested in things like merit and worth rather than legalities. Bassianus says, Romans, friends, followers, favorers of my right, if ever Bassianus, Caesar's son, were gracious in the eyes of royal Rome, keep then this passage to the Capitol, and suffer not dishonor to approach. The imperial seat to virtue consecrate, to justice, continence, and nobility. But let desert and pure election shine, and Romans, fight for freedom in your choice. Let desert and pure election shine. In short, I'm the better guy. You should pick me, even though it's illegal, because I deserve it. And again, this is the same tension between law and justice that we saw at the beginning of Comedy of Errors, and it's indicative of how interested Shakespeare is in this problematic that his title character here, Titus, comes in, and even though Titus likes Bassianus, in fact, he thinks Bassianus is going to be his son-in-law. We discover very early on, for example, that Bassianus is engaged to Titus's daughter Lavinia. Titus chooses to side with Saturninus, even though Saturninus is a jerk. And Titus chooses to side with Saturninus because Titus is a man of the law, of the state. He is a military general who is willing to give everything, absolutely, completely, totally, over to the state of Rome. In some way, for Titus, the state of Rome is like a god to whom he is utterly devoted, even when the state of Rome and its interests are counter to Titus's own self-interests. Of course, one of the most shocking moments early in the play is when Saturninus is named emperor, and he chooses Lavinia, just despite his brother and despite Titus, as one of his brides. And Titus's sons challenge him on this, which is a bad idea. Titus is a tough guy to challenge. And Mucius gets in front of him. This is Act 1, Scene 1, lines pick up about 287 or so. Brothers, help to convey her hence away, and with my sword I'll keep this door safe. And Mucius blocks the door from Titus trying to retrieve Lavinia for the emperor. Follow, my lord, I'll soon bring her back. My lord, you pass not here, Mucius says to his father. Titus, outraged, says, What, villain boy, barrest me my way in Rome? And he stabs him immediately. That is, Titus is immediately willing to sacrifice or kill one of his own sons in order to honor Rome, or the state of Rome, and the figure of the emperor, even though Rome and the state of Rome and the emperor has just done him a disservice. So again, When plays open, they tell us a lot about characters, they tell us a lot about themes and major concerns right away. That's the nature of the early modern stage. Shakespeare, as a playwright, doesn't have time to hit the rewind button. He's got to talk to an audience, bring them in both intellectually, emotionally, right away, communicate a lot of information, and get them thinking in a certain way. And one of the things he certainly gets us here is, what is it? What is it that would make a father kill his innocent son? What greater power is it that would make a father want to kill his innocent son in the way that Titus kills Lucius? Sorry, Mucius, and in this early scene.